Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. This is Starters Order 7, a jump save in the UK on the first iteration of our new schedule. Still work being done on the second. Going to take me a day or two to clean up a couple of things I saw, both on this and on the US flats save as well. There was a couple of things that did need changing there. So, got to get that done. Um, and then just again a little more testing, another day or two of testing, and then it should be up. Like I say, by the end of this week, we should have that in place. So, you know, we should have a video going up on the tips, tricks, cheats, and play and tutorial playlist with the schedules. Um, and like I say, for right now, it's only the US flat schedule and the UK jump schedule, both based off the Start It mod by MJ Tags. So, um, yeah, there will be some default schedules going up that I'll be making, but overall, yeah, we'll get round to that. Things been a little hectic at times. My health's not been the best, so I'm trying to get things done as and when I can. But right now, it's a little tricky. But by the end of the week, we should at least have those two up. So if you've got the Start It mod, then you'll just be able to put them in the right folder and select them when you're starting a new game, and that'll be it. That's all you'll need to do, and you will have the new schedules full of the new races. I would like to know, comment section down below. Um, do people want the schedule that doesn't have the the National Hunt Cup, as I called it, where I named a bunch of races after horses like Persian War, Karastastabrak, Flying Bolt, Moscow Flyer, Desert Orchid, Red Rum, Counter Star, Arkle, etc. Um, Basically at a bunch of different distances for 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and just creating more races, a grade one at that level. Do people want the schedule without that? And do people want the schedule without um the hurdles, the juvenile and the chase version, which is a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and 5-year-old? No, I think I did 6-year-old, didn't I? That's right. No, we didn't do 3-year-old. We did 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Sorry, 6-year-old and up. That is for the 1,000, 2,000 guineas. The Derby and the St. Ledger created like some jumps races in May, in June, and in September to kind of replicate the Triple Crown. So, like with or without those races, with or without the National Hunt Cup meeting, because I can take those out fairly easily and release versions of that if people want. I do think it's a much fuller schedule and a much more complete experience with all that. But if you're looking for realism, then I mean, you shouldn't be downloading my schedule anyway. It's not entirely realistic, but yeah, just let me know kind of what you want to see there. And yeah, the US flat one's a little more further along. Only a couple of changes need there, and they shouldn't need testing because they're simple changes. The UK jumps is a little more complicated and is a little more work to be done, and then really has to be stress tested. So we'll kind of see how that goes over the next couple of days. But like I say, by the end of the week, that should be up and running. So hopefully that'll be cool and be all nicely finished, ready to upload. Because I know people are excited about that and want to get that done. So yeah, I think that's all I had on that front. So as we get into it, don't forget to leave comments, like, subscribe. Really helps me out, helps the algorithm. Road to 1,000 subscribers, and yeah, we've got races booked out. Only a few, but like I say, we're still in the kind of setup phase in this save a little bit, where the 3-year-olds and I'm the one remaining 4-year-old, which I'm not entirely sure on, It's still a couple of years away from being much. Next season we'll have at least one racing in high profile races. Um, but yeah, this schedule doesn't have much in the way of graded races and everything. So yeah, this with a few tweaks would be kind of the schedule you'd get if you didn't want my National Hunt Cup or 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and 6-year-old and up Triple Crowns. So just know kind of what you're getting. And it's not a bad schedule. I think it's slightly better than the default. But overall, yeah, I just think this still isn't full enough for me. Still isn't as competitive as I would want it. So, okay, that being said, we're going to go to Warwick. Hello, milady. One of a bunch of cool 3-year-olds we've got who do look good. Don't look great, but they do look good. And yeah, sadly, they're all just running 2 miles. And I've debated back and forth going for jockey instructions. I'm kind of in the camp of not doing them right now. Because we've been running well without them. But now and again, we have needed to. But yeah, I don't fully know. I don't think it hurts the horse to do it or to not to do it. I don't think it really helps it apart from the result, and these races don't mean anything. And we're not protecting an unbeaten run, and we're not gonna be in, you know, we're not gonna be in danger of rating or anything like that at this point. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure why we would need to, but so far jumping well. Roe Mill out in the front. Jogio Willis versus Sonny and versus Daly. And here comes Brimley Soul on the outside. We've kind of kicked off on the front. Brimley Soul coming. That's jump 8. So that's jump 9. That's the final one. We clear it quite well. And Loma Lady's just going to streak on in for the win here. Yeah, we just kind of sat second. We just ran. And then we had way too much pace for the field. Yeah. And like I say, we're definitely like a 2-4 to a 2-5 kind of distance on most of these horses. So, you know, being able to run at 2 and win that comfortably, back to back, without jockey instructions, like that to me feels like a better result and a better way of running rather than, you know, not knowing just how good the horse is. But I can tell that Aloma Lady is way better than anyone we just raced against because boy did she run. And like I say, still looking for an extra half a mile after that race. So yeah, really really impressed with all the circumstances adding up. Don't think she's like an amazing horse right now, but like that potential is going to pretty much fill out. And on this schedule, I don't know if the game AI is going to breed anyone with a full potential bar and with good other bars because there aren't high enough graded races. And that's kind of the better race you win and the better horses you run against and the length you win by, like how impressive the race is, your competition is, and the winning margin is basically. That's how much you develop. That's how the game kind of judges how to progress each horse. And if you don't have a lot of grade 1s in the schedule, and you don't have a lot of high prize money feature races, then you're not going to develop horses, really. And if the game's not developing like high level horses, then it's not going to run their own horses against high-level horses because they're not going to be there. And so you just kind of always have bad game breds. And then as soon as you get a good horse, you're going to dominate. And as soon as you get your own breeding program going on, you're going to slowly outstrip, not even slowly, quickly outstrip the game ability to, produce big, good horses. It also limits who you can breed with because the game's not creating them and not generating them. So, yeah, I think we'll be okay with our 3-year-olds on this schedule. On the updated version, I think we'd have much more of a challenge. And so I do feel that that is something to do there. But yeah, it's pretty much like my 3-year-old quite looks like Malibu Sun in a lot of ways. And Malibu Sun, like, did win a grade 1 and 2 grade 2s. So, yeah. Yeah, the 3-year-old's not far off that. So, a breeding Malibu Sun, and then the other one we've got is Tartan Jury, who again doesn't look impressive in cruising burst or extra speed. Like, had really good potential, but like just won basically a grade 1, a grade 2, and a grade 3. Like, between the two of them, breeding with some pretty decent mares, like that's at least got cruising burst. This doesn't have any distance, but looks solid, not impressive, but solid, and so on. And one of the few game breds that looked like anything in Mother D's. Like, I don't know, I feel like we could be producing some good horses. The 2-year-old, the only good 2-year-old we bred, and even she doesn't look amazing. And then Brex just comes from a different game. Again, you can see didn't look amazing, but ran really well. Seeker Violetta with the full potential bar, good extra speed, lacks a bit of cruising burst. So none of them are perfect, but the combinations I think will end up with a lot more horses looking a bit like this, with like 50% cruising burst, 70 or more extra speed, and like probably by the time they hit their prime at like age 6, 90 plus potential. And so at least they should be very competitive and good horses to run. So yeah, that's just something we've got going for us in this save. Like, Falling Cast is exactly the same. Probably is a 2-miler. But again, what we lose on cruising burst, we usually pick up an extra speed and vice versa. Lots of potential. Still needs to fill out potential. Like, still ready to race. So we're booking plenty of 2-mile juveniles and just running. Really, just running little juvenile hurdles. And I think that's just the best way for us to do it. Just the best way for us to do it. And so I'm kind of excited. So let me know, out of all these 3-year-olds as well, like, who looks the best? Who looks like potentially for you is going to be, the one that keeps winning at 4, 5, 6. And when we get up to the big feature races and when we get up to those graded races, like, who's going to go? Who's going to make an impact? Who's worth breeding from out of that bunch? You just saw the breeding ban. You got some comparisons there. Who's going to improve that stock as well? And then the final question we've got to answer is, like, who could run Grand National? Like, do we have that? Potentially? I don't know. Half a mile from home, this is where horses really go. Lopino left in front, Insolite Daydream and Gotcha Footsie with us. Grey third and Intercept Highway. Apogee Bobby coming up now. Penultimate Jump. We're going. Footsie dropping off. Blobby getting up into third. Nobody jumps it particularly well. We do okay. And into the final half furlong, as Fulbright Monash has fallen along the way, we take it. It's not anywhere near as dominant That's kind of, just the way we run. Yeah, 6 3/4, and then a couple are about 4.5 to 5 lengths, and that short head that we didn't win. So, yeah, pretty impressive stuff. Yeah, running up freely, jumping a little sticky. So we're getting a lot of feedback like this. I'm not sure whether or not each run is gonna give experience, because our jumping bars, these are all young horses. They're either non-existent or they're tiny. Millennium Hand's our best 3-year-old jumper, and Effervescent Destiny's only there as a 4-year-old too. But like, the potentials also aren't that big. So I'm wondering how much that plays into it, but also how much we run. Does that have some kind of effect as well? Because it might do. It 100% might do. Belfast Kid. Yeah, so I need to get more runs for those two in a bit. I do need to get more runs for those two in a bit. Yeah, I don't love any of those. So yeah, don't have too much to kind of talk about with these horses because it's still so early in their career. I think when you're in a save like this, it's nice to have horses of every age, and that's really difficult at the start because you're not going to have that. So you're not going to be able to compete for big races until you're like 7 or 8. If you've got a really good horse, maybe 6. So what you want to do is run some 3s, probably in flat racing, 4s in the novice racing, 5s over hurdles, 6 over chase, 7 you can start looking at the feature races, and then the biggest races and the graded sort of races you can look at when they're sort of 8 rough guide. That's what I've been told. That's what I keep reading. That's the way the progression works. Now, if you're coming over from the US save, like, you know, you know, yearlings stay in the breeding barn. 2-year-olds run a juvenile season. We try and get a graded race on them. 3-year-olds hit the Triple Crown, and then 4-year-olds have got their own program. But pretty much it has been up until this point only if they're a mile 1 to a mile 2, because we can hit, the Pegasus, Saudi, and Dubai World Cup. Like, those 3 kind of are that season, so it's way different. Canical Dudley coming through, starting to drop off. That's our biggest challenger so far. They could kick on at the end, but the final jump, we jump it pretty well. They go high and go backwards a little bit. Still keep expecting them to come on and drive. And here they come. They jump that well, and they shut down the gap. Nobody else anywhere clear. We are starting to move out ahead of them again if we jump this well, which we do and they don't. Yeah, we just completely burned them there. And we're going to drive out towards the line. So just another one. Almost not even on screen. Yeah, 7.5. Again, want more distance, so we want half a mile more. We didn't lose by much there. That was ahead. 10 lengths, 10.5, 7.5 there. Like, it is what it is. Fully maxed out potential. Lots of extra speed and cruising burst. Does have quirks. I just don't know what the quirks are. It hasn't really come into play. So, I'm not sure. If it is exact same as in the other saves, I thought it changed between saves. So I think, every time you create the save, the quirks are kind of randomized. If they're not, this just basically means does not like to run on dirt. Because we had that in the US save where it's a bit more of an issue because a lot of the racing in the big races, especially the Kentucky Derby, which I love, is a dirt race. So, yeah, if this is the same and this is just does not like dirt racing, well, that's fine. Um, yeah, really good horse all in all. I think might be one of my favorites. I've kind of got two. Millennium Hand is definitely one of them, and I think yeah, the next 3-year-old up is my other come undone. We will get to them because yeah, you've all got race booked. So you two don't have a race booked after this, do you? So let's find where we left off. I'm just keeping booking them in the same order. So that's fine. So they'll all have 2 runs each then, basically. Taking up to 5 total for the season. And we'll see kind of where we go in this. I don't mind this horse. I don't have the belief that it is good or can be really good. It might get a grade 1, but I don't think it's especially talented, especially quick. I don't think any of his bars stand out. I just don't see it being this amazing runner. So, nope. And we do start off with a poor jump, which is nice. Remember, this is like a 20% bar on jumping, which is matches our best 3-year-old and is better than all the other 3-year-olds who have 10%, except one who has 0. So not a bad jump there for Effervescent Destiny. A little 2-6 novice race then at Ludlow, I think we're at. Not really raced too much. But yeah, like a horse I got out the auction. It had something in its stats. Like we picked up 2. The fillies ended up going back into the breeding barn because she's not running and winning races she should be at this age, which aren't anything big. They're just like this little novice races and whatnot. But yeah, she was really struggling with that. And I just don't feel like it's worth persevering with that this season. Maybe not at all. Maybe she just stays in the breeding barn. Her stats aren't bad. They're just not great. It depends who we breed her with. I think, again, that's a big thing is finding good horses of both genders because game breds just aren't always going to be there. So you do need your own stallions. But, buying random horses at auction isn't going to give you too much in the way of mares either. So Spirit the Straight now starting to drop off. Adriana Maguire with us from Deep Tab Symphony. 13 cleared, 14 cleared. Out to a little bit of a distance. And we are just about being caught a tiny little bit there by Tab Symphony. But I like that we held our pace and we didn't let anyone close the gap. They were just gaining on us like fractions at a time. And that's why we've kind of kept this horse, is I think it can do something. I don't know how good it would be, but it's absolutely battering horses at this kind of distance now, which is nice. We got a small win here. We got a big win here. This was soft ground. These were too long. I feel like there's something. Again, it's not a great horse. It's just about good enough. It's all really going to depend, I think, 5-6-year-old. Does the potential grow? Does it do anything there? Because if it doesn't, if this is the horse's peak, then it's never going to win anything big at all. But if there's more to go, then yeah, I can see that, and we can work with that 100%. So it's not a bad horse. Bought it for 178 grand. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. We could probably breed from it ourselves. We could breed other horses, put it out to stud and let other horses come in and breed with it, earn a little bit of money. We might win one or two decent races. We probably end up making our money back on it. Especially if we just continuously bred and sold a bunch of yearlings. Just the sheer volume would get 200 grand quite easily. So even if they weren't any good. So I don't think it's a bad purchase. I just don't feel like there's anything out there that, is going to make a difference. Couple of flat race wins. Feature race, flat race. And you didn't even come close on flat races. Yeah, judging size and dams in this save again, it's really difficult. It's really difficult, and it's not something I feel like I'm that good at, and I feel it is kind of random, and so then you are just struggling basically because you're trying to find something that works and something that looks right, and it just might not be right. Guess we can go back to Warwick there. But yeah, I think it's like I say, the schedule is a little light. And I think having 4-year-old only races, I do feel that is something that would help. Even if it's only the Triple Crown. Because you're at least giving yourself a chance to run something important and at least being able to test yourself against the best 4-year-olds. And not having to deal with the 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. We're just going to be stronger and bigger and faster anyway. So, yeah, I feel like it makes sense to me to do it that way. We are tipped. We are very calm. Okay, very calm's not bad. It's not lazy. Kind of what I was worried about. Kind of what I was looking at. Where do we line up? And this is my favorite of the 3-year-olds. Solid first jump, I guess. But yeah, it's we're unlucky not to have 3 at least unbeaten horses at this point. 2 are beaten by a head, and so if not more, I can remember 2 for sure. I'm not sure if there was more. But yeah, as it stands, this is our only unbeaten 3-year-old, and it does look good. It runs well. It runs my style as a front runner, as a stalker. It does have a good kick at the end. I believe it's probably just we're going to be told it's run freely, and jumping was a little sticky at times because all of our 3-year-olds have that. All of our 3-year-olds kind of have that. But right now, the rest of the field is way back. It's tough to keep second place on the screen with the field, let alone us. And that's the kind of horse I like. 11 and 3/4. Just, yeah, 10 and a half. The 14 and 3 is just crazy. It's a 7 and 3/4. 14, 10, and now 11. Like, there's more domination. There's more domination with this. Again, we're not on distance. We're not, we're not at our peak because there's no races here at this level. But it's, again, a very solid horse. Probably not even the best stat-wise, just seems to run the best. That's one of my favorite tours, kind of split this way. So yeah, we could have settled better, but it didn't say any of the other negative stuff. So that's a pretty good run, all in all. It's a good result, but it's a pretty good run as well. It's just none of these look good. None of these auction horses look good. They don't have good records. It's slightly annoying. It's slightly annoying. Let me go back through the order then, pick up Belfast Kid, and see what he can do. Another nice horse, really. That's the thing, they're all good horses. I just don't know if they're going to be great horses. And it's probably going to be a few years till we actually find that out. So it's having patience in this save. It's predicting the future. It's not overreacting. But I've also got a decent number of 3-year-olds. I just wonder, would I be able to run all these and not get bored booking all these races and watching all these races, which kind of mean nothing. Honestly, like to equate it back to the US flat save, they'd be the maiden and then what, allowance races, basically. So if I had a full set of horses, I had like 4 3-year-olds, 4 4-year-olds, 4 5-year-olds, I'd probably skip all the 3-year-old racing because it'd all be just flat racing. Well, this is different. This is interesting. We actually have a race here. But yeah, I'd skip that. As a 4-year-old, I'd maybe skip the races too, and then we'd watch the 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds run. But it's still a ton of races. Maybe at that point you'd be down to 1 or 2 horses at like 6 or 7. Okay, Belfast Kid really is struggling. And this isn't the first time we've seen this. We got a good gap back to third. But unless those horses kind of fell or stumbled really badly, yeah, we're going to come through way too late. And that's our first third place. Not great. Yeah. Very much a mixed bag. Very much a mixed bag. Um, that was kind of fast. It was kind of fast. I'm surprised. I mean, I was hoping to win so we can start filling out this potential that just doesn't seem to really be fillable yet. But like I say, it doesn't need to be. We've got another 3 years of development at least, probably. The bars look good. The bars look good. Look better than Come Undone. Just doesn't run as good as Come Undone. Yeah. I think we've got these horses which don't need jockey instructions, but then Belfast Kid kind of feels like they do. Because if they would have won that, everyone would have come second. Now, less than a length. I think this is a short head. No, this is a head. Yeah, Falling Castles was the short head. And Aloma Lady was also a head, right? No, that's half a length. Okay, so we got a short head, a head, half a length, and then basically 3/4 of a length. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, they would all come in second, then won their other 3 races. So this is the first one here. Like firmer ground, this was hard ground. It's literally just distance, tripping up, with a half a bar of distance adaptability, which other horses don't have. But really, the raw pace is in your ability, and that just doesn't exist for Belfast Kid in the same way it does for Come Undone, who runs way better. So, yeah, I definitely think there's a lot like that playing into it. I think Millennium Hand might be my most impressive horse from like a stats point of view, looking at the potential and the cruising burst and the extra speed. I definitely think so. Come and done, probably top 3, but it's really just the potential. Millennium Hand has that in this, yeah. Like, they're my 1-2. I had Belfast Kid as my number 3. No, I don't know. No, it's up for grabs. Just purely on a stats point of view. Hello, Milady, maybe. But definitely has weaknesses. Ugh. I don't know. 17 to 28 on the year. 20 out of 47 career. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. And these records are pretty good. So we got what? 5 second places, a third and a fourth. All those second places within a length. That third we know is like 6 lengths back, and the fourth was 4 3/4, and that was 5. So yeah, the 3-year-olds I feel are good. This I don't know. Belfast Kid probably will be one day, but I'm not sure how quickly they're going to get there. And the other ones are just really pretty good horses. I wonder if I should just skip through these juveniles. Aloma Lady, second. Not great. Is this going to run them differently? Like, are we getting better results because we're watching them? It wouldn't be the first time that that's kind of happened. So I'm kind of a little bit interested in this horse. Not super. I don't think it's going to be as good as the ones we've got. But the sire is someone that slightly intrigues me. Yeah, see, like, it doesn't have the extra speed I'm looking for at all, and is a long way off its potential, which is kind of low compared to our other 3-year-olds. But that's probably one of the better game breds you're going to see in an auction at like age 3, 4, 5. It's kind of slightly disappointing. That's who we're going up against. Yeah, nothing at that auction either, was there? Let's see, Falling Castles is going to win. That's a big win. Yeah, okay, well, maybe it's not as random. I mean, you were behind by a while, but still, you went from 2-6 to 2. Ooh, there's just little bits of interest along the way, right? Just now and again, little bits of interest. You've at least got a grade 1 fall. Yeah, this is all part of testing the schedule as well. It's not just the racing side of things, but it's also the auction side of things. What are these game breds like? Are you gonna get anything at auction? How good are they gonna be? Are we gonna see anything that's fun or interesting or different? Because if there's nothing at auctions, then that kind of takes away a big part of the game for some people. If there's not going to be any competition for big races and you're just dominating as soon as you get a half decent horse, like, that's not going to be fun for people. If there's nothing to breed from in the breeding barn, it's not going to be fun for people. So this is kind of why I say I need like time to test everything. Wow. Coming from a grade 1 winner, 2 grade 1s, a grade 2, and a grade 3, who has also sired a grade 1 winner. That's 1 a grade 1, grade 2, and 4 grade 3s. So, sure, that pairing might be a lot to do with the mare as well, but like, this is a good horse. This foaled a good horse. Far from it being a bad horse. And this is what we're getting. Like that's quite possibly the worst horse I have ever seen. Legitimately, I've had horses with zero potential, but like just across the board, that's the worst set of stats I've ever seen. 4 of his stats are at 50%. That's the highest. We've got a 35. We've got a couple of like 33s. No finish application. No real. My God, there's no real kind of anything. I'm just trying to think. Like, it's got good jump speed potential, but it's got no speed. No finish. Half a bar extra speed. 35 cruising burst. 10% battling qualities. Like, how do we get horses like this? That's nuts. That's nuts. 5 row low bars, nothing crazy. Pretty good jumper, but again, that's not really what you're looking for. It's slightly depressing. It's slightly depressing. And that's why I'm not releasing this schedule the way it is right now. And there are going to be little changes here and there because I would not want to play this myself. I just don't see any reason to play this schedule the way it is because you're not going to have fun races. You're not going to have fun auctions. You're not going to have good horses to breed from. It's going to take you forever unless you import horses into it to get a breeding program going. And then as soon as you do get the breeding program in, you're instantly going to be better than the level of competition, and you're pretty much just going to dominate. It's it's rough. There's no balance to it. Absolutely no balance to it. So yeah, let me know what you think. But maybe this kind of schedule is for you. But if it is, then you probably should just be playing the default schedules because that's what they're like. That is what they're like. Or making your own, and then you can create all kinds of races for your own schedules. And we do have a video on that, but yeah, just I don't know what's the thought process on all this because Hello 4. Yeah, I don't know. It's so different. Like I say, I think that's to its credit that the jumps and the UK schedule in general is so different to the American. The Australian feels slightly different. They've all kind of got their specialties, right? The French ones have their own way of playing. UK and Ireland kind of have their way of playing. And America has a totally different way of playing. The jumps versus the flats, different kind of ways of playing. Combined schedules, always a bit of a mess. Yeah, when you're used to playing a certain way, then it's very difficult to play the other style. And they're so different from each other that it doesn't feel like the same game. And everything I love about the American game isn't in the jumps right now. We are trying to make it so it is. I'm trying to make my own style. So let me know what you think about that and how that kind of feels to you. But yeah, this schedule, the way it is, I don't love. I like our 3-year-olds. I think these are some phenomenal 3-year-olds. I think the breeding barn is average, but probably way above game bred level. And then we've added in 3 absolute heaters that would be, world class in any save. Although because they are from an American save, at 8 years of age, instead of hitting their peak, they are declining. There is that. There is that. But yeah, very interesting one. Like I say, from this, I still need to make changes to these two, which are new schedules that I was working on and beating. Yeah, this to me is a more complete schedule, and kind of works out nicely. So in February we've got this is the one with the fixed Dublin Racing Festival, and then also is this? I can't remember if this is the Cheltenham Festival one. Yeah, we built out the Cheltenham Festival more and increased prize money. So that's going to be the attraction. And then Aintree, we've kind of set up for the Grand National meetings with much more prize money involved there. And then I believe it was May 1st. We have our National Hunt Cup. So Dunkirk and Monksfield on the first day of the Ascot meeting with the guineas at 1,000, 2,000 for colts and for fillies. For our 4-year-olds, the juvenile competition. The hurdles competition is for the 5-year-olds. And then the chase competition is for 6 and older. And see here, Persian, War, Istabrak, Kauto Star. Next one is mid-June. It does follow roughly the Triple Crown on the on the flat side of things. It follows roughly the same kind of ideas. So similar dates, similar courses, if I could. Well, because I couldn't, I went for my 3 big, which is Ascot, Aintree, and Cheltenham. So we've got a nice little meeting in here with this one. And again, we got the Derby Juvenile, the Derby Hurdles, and the Derby Chase for 4, 5, 6. Night Nurse, Moscow Flyer, Annie Power, Analog's Daughter, Arkle. And then mid-September, the Juvenile, St. Ledger, Hurdles, and Chase. Sprint to Secra, Dawn Run, Flying Boat, Millhouse, Desert Orchid, Red Rum. I still feel we could add more to this. There's still a lot of dead space at different points of the year where they don't have grade 1 races. And I do want a schedule that does have grade 1s. So my kind of thought with that is maybe splitting up and having 2 meetings at Ascot, 2 at Aintree, and 2 at Cheltenham, where instead of having back-to-back days racing, we split them up. So maybe May, June, and September still work. But maybe we also want to do October, November, December, for example, and just lay another 3 out there. So a little bit of feedback on that from you guys. How do we want to spread this out? Do we want to keep them clumped up and have like big race meetings with downtime in between? That might suit you if you're doing manual training. If you're doing automatic training like me, or simple training, then you don't need those breaks. You kind of just need 2 weeks or so in between every race you're running. That's it. I know in a manual game you can kind of manipulate it differently, and that will change. But yeah, I feel like February through June is really busy in this schedule. July and August, a little time off. September is now busy. And then, yeah, kind of until you get towards the end of the year. Even the end of the year is kind of tired and gets a little boring. So we got Leopardstown at the end of the year. Got a grade 1 at Ascot. And we're back at Punchestown, Sandown. We got a couple. It's like 4 grade 1s in December. So yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there are more. But they are kind of spread out again back half of the month. And there's only a few in November. There's no big meetings, I feel. Everything's like a meeting, sure. But I want more meetings. Glorious Goodwood, Cheltenham Festival, Royal Ascot, the Grand National Meeting. Like, those are the things I kind of want to replicate year long. Because I feel like I've definitely got that in the US, Civ. So let me know what you think about the schedules. Like, this is the latest full version. We do need to put a little more work into it. And then fully test it. But I've been going back and forth on these over this past week or so. And more testing will have to be done on them. But yeah, I like this because it's better than the default. But now I've played this American one where we've got the 9 Triple Crowns. We've got all the big races around the world, and we've got enough races for 4-year-olds to have a fantastic schedule. But we start right at the beginning with some big grade 1 meetings, and it cools off a little bit, but you're getting into like the World Cup stages, which I think are big. And we got another meeting there, start of February. Little races here and there. By the end of February, we got another one. Just like little meetings interspersed with multiple grade 1s raced within a couple of days of each other or on the same day. And there's no real down point to the schedule. Even here in April, where it's like a little lackluster, you've got enough interspersed. And really, it's the 3-year-old build up to the Triple Crowns at that stage. And so then you get your Kentucky Derby meetings. And again, it cools off a little bit, but it picks up with a bunch of sprint races and the Preakness meeting, and then moves on to the Belmont meeting. And you're never going probably more than 2 weeks without a big race meeting or a scattering of grade 1s throughout the year. And so this is what I'm used to. This is what I'm kind of trying to make, I feel, for the UK jump schedule. So any suggestions for that, please do let me know. Like I say, I've already set up the National Hunt Cup, and I've set up the Triple Crown races, built those into 3 different events throughout the year. The other thing I can do is turn a lot of the grade 3 handicaps into grade 3s. a lot of grade 2 handicaps into grade 2s, the other grade 1 handicaps into grade 1s, both for UK and Ireland. That'll kind of increase the bigger races and the horses that go in for them, because handicaps don't attract the very best usually. And also just turn the regular grade 2s into grade 1s and the grade 3s into grade 2s. And then the high-end handicaps could become grade 3s. So we could do something like that and just give us a wider pool to build with, rather than target different things in the schedule itself. Yeah, a little bit of testing to do on that, but kind of a little downbeat on the jump schedule right now, because I don't have a schedule I think is going to allow us to have exciting play, and you really need a good, like I say, 7 or 8-year-old right now on this schedule, I feel, to really, really fight for something big. Because we're not there, and we're so far away, it kind of feels slightly off-putting. So I think, yeah, need to get that schedule right, need to get it tested, can put it up for download, and then can, run these through breeding, pair the best of them up, like Come Undone with Millennium Hand. I don't know what that's going to look like, but the way those two run and the way those two look, I feel that could be an excellent pairing. And then we just put those on the transfer list, and then we can bring those into the new schedule when it's fully built out. So yeah, that's what this schedule is supposed to be. I don't feel it is, but have your say comment section down below. Please do smash the like and subscribe buttons. Check out the other playlists and the memberships available on the channel. But I'm very interested to hear what you think, what you feel. I've definitely got an idea in mind. It's such a grand idea that I'm kind of struggling to get to, when I feel like there were all the races there for the flat schedule to make it work. And my knowledge of the flat schedule helped a lot with that. I'm leaning on you guys a little more for this jump schedule. And even then, I've had to create, 13 races per meet, three meet. I think it's 39 races I've had to create out of thin air, grade 1s. And even then, we're not where I want it to be. So, yeah, let me know. I'll see you in the next one, though. Till then, take care, stay safe, all the very best to you. And like I say, schedule's coming up soon, so keep an eye out for the next tutorial video. That should be where the schedules drop. I don't really have a tutorial video planned until then, so when you see it, you'll know it. I'll see you soon, and get that feedback in.